Yo, what's up guys? May 11th, your news about the news today. And before we get into all of that, in the video I uploaded yesterday on alchemy, I just mentioned the Schumann resonance really quick at the beginning of the video, and because of that, I got a lot of people asking me how to check it. So I'm simply just going to throw an article down below that I use, the one I use. It's like a Russian observatory or something like that, but you can check it whenever, and it'll show you the Schumann, so there you go. Now let's get into the news of the day, because there's a lot of stuff going on, obviously, with James Comey being fired, a lot of things distracting us in the mainstream media, and a lot of things going on behind the scenes. So let's try to tie all these pieces in together. Obviously, Comey fired, and I wrote down MSM sucks. Now that's nothing new, but reading everything going on from the mainstream media rags, so like CNN, Washington Post, Huffington Post, literally, like check this out. I'm going to show you a tab on my computer right here. MSM rags to check. Mainstream media rags to check. So that's how I, go through these news updates, is by checking all those mainstream media sites. Now, a big shtick they're trying to use to sway a lot of people to hate what's going on is anger. I've seen that one. A lot of articles, headlines has been trying to paint Trump as being some crazy person. Avoiding investigation. There's been a lot of propaganda and people getting swirled up by all these ideas that, oh, Donald Trump's just trying to avoid his investigations into his Russia links, Russia. Blame the Russians. There's that one. This was a really ridiculous one. FBI agents, this was a headline I think I saw on CNN, but they were saying that FBI agents were changing their Facebook profile pictures to, that they normally do when a colleague dies, but they've been changing it to James Comey to, be really sad about, blah, blah, blah. It's like high school, right? Reading all these mainstream media, corporate media rags, it's like listening to a freaking high schooler and all of their drama. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's a good thing, because they're on their freaking heels, so just keep that in mind. Right? The more and more I see CNN just get more oblivious with their propaganda, I just laugh. I laugh inside, so that's cool. Next, Trump meets with Lavrov. He meets with a Russian minister, and Kissinger, Henry Kissinger himself, in his office right after he fires James Comey. If this doesn't say, balls of steel power play, I don't necessarily know what does. I would love to hear the conversation that occurred between Trump and Kissinger, or those three men right there. That would have been a good one. So I really think that's essentially a giant move by said Earth Alliance, where they knew they couldn't wait. So boom, fire Comey right before they meet with Kissinger. And this is a really exciting thing to me, is Trey Gowdy being the next FBI director. So there's been quite a few articles and rumors circulating that Trey Gowdy is probably the most likely next candidate for that FBI director job. Now, and what's really interesting is that a CNN commentator who's a registered Democrat actually tweeted yesterday. His name is Bakari Sellers. And he tweeted that Dems are going to hate me for this, but I don't care. The best replacement for Comey is Trey Gowdy. And he's been getting a lot of support. And also, no comment. His staff knows there's a lot of rumors, and there's been no comment from him or his staff about his desire to be here. So I think, since there's no comment with all these rumors circulating, I think that is the next move. I think this is exactly what they've been planning. And that'd be my bet. My bet would be him being the next FBI director, so hopefully that doesn't take long. And the reason that hopefully it does not take long is that I'm not sure how long you might have been following my channel here, but I've been covering his efforts spearheading anti-child exploitation, anti-pedophilia, and anti-human trafficking legislation through the House Judiciary Committee for weeks now. He's definitely anti-deep state. So that's a good thing. And Comey getting fired now frees up the FBI, because Julian Assange actually tweeted the FBI is now going to start leaking like Niagara. So now that the bureaucratic nonsense is out of there, the grassroots of the FBI, they're going to be much more likely to tell what's going on, to not only blow the whistle to the public, but to share more information within the agency itself, or even between different three-letter agencies. And what I mean by that is that I went onto Google News this morning, and I simply typed in human trafficking arrests, and coincidentally, just the past day or two, there's been a lot of local busts around the country. Of course, these busts don't make it in the mainstream media, but into local outlets, they normally do. There was 20 people just arrested in my home state of Washington here yesterday. There was an ex-judge in Kentucky arrested just yesterday in regards to human trafficking. So that frees up the FBI, it frees up the manpower, and it frees up the information that gets around. And then also, there was an FBI raid just yesterday at a GOP fundraising firm in Annapolis, Maryland. Now, I don't know how much this might be connected to Comey being fired, but again, freeing up the FBI. And this is not, when it says GOP firm, this is not a Democrat versus Republican thing. This is a sickos in the government versus not sickos in the government thing. So, that's big news. A lot of human traffickers get arrested, big news. And if he gets in as the FBI director, man, I bet the Bushes and, I mean, George Bush, again, is he still in hospital? Wonder why. Wonder where he might be. I wonder where Hillary Clinton is right now, because I tell you what, both of their buttholes are real puckered up thinking of him being the next that. So that's everything. Those are all of my thoughts going on around really this James Comey situation. A lot of people are scared of it, or like, oh my god, what's going on? But it's a great thing. I'm very freaking happy it happened. About time, right? So there's that. And then nextly, there is science disclosures. Now, there's a lot. I just kind of perused, you know, those mainstream media outlets as I normally do. And past couple days, man, they are really throwing some stuff out there. They're going to have to rewrite all of these science textbooks like every week, the way they're just throwing info out. Apparently, there's been new landforms discovered under Antarctica. And this is a really interesting one. We've never seen anything like it, they say. And apparently some scientific expeditions below the ice shelf found land. But, again, mainstream media and mainstream science are about 500 years behind, because I just discussed this in my Antarctica video that I uploaded a couple days ago, something called the Piri map. The Piri map was dated to about 1513, and it actually showed Antarctica with no ice on it and land masses underneath. So, again, they're just trying to, like, these powers that be, knowing that their time is short, this guy and probably that guy, they're just trying to throw as much science out there as they can, as much of the secrets, I should say, not science, but secrets they've hidden out there as they can to save their ass. But new radio bursts. This was an interesting one. I found this one in a lot of websites. This was on Futurism and Gizmodo and a lot of kind of mainstream publications. But there is a new fast radio burst that they're, you know, trying to decipher. Is it alien? Where does it come from? Yada yada. So, you know, more prepping, more seeding of our consciousness, more outs. So that's a point I've been making recently. There's more outs. So one of the reasons they throw these articles out in the mainstream media, because if they needed a story to run with to try some like BS half-assed disclosure to the public to distract from any like mass arrest scenarios or big stuff that goes on behind the scenes, they can do that. So more outs, more soft disclosures, more seeding of our consciousness. And also another point that I want to make here with this article that I've also made lately is that don't be so cynical about the mainstream media as well, right? So again, the mark of an educated mind is to entertain a thought without accepting it. When I read CNN or Huffington Post or Washington Post, just because it's a corporate rag, I'm not going to dissuade all the information they put out. I'm not just going to be like, oh, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, just because they reported it. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see where there might be truth, where there might be the information, or misinformation or disinformation, and you discern it all, right? I'm going to do a video on proper discernment and information processing soon, because we need to really learn how to think, not what to think. And it's a tough thing to do, learn how to think. But this one, I found in Science Alert, which is a website that's put out by an ex-Microsoft guy, so I really think it's kind of one of the corporate science media complexes, like, it's one of their avenues right there to get a lot of their propaganda. But this one didn't look like propaganda, and that's that's the point I want to make here, is that just because it's mainstream media doesn't mean there couldn't be good people in that organization that are trying to get the truth out, or trying to get certain, like, positive narratives out to the people. Or, I mean, we all know the CIA has infected mainstream media organizations. Maybe some white hats have. Maybe some people were able to, some good, positive people were able to infiltrate the media organizations, and they're trying to get stuff out. This was an interesting one because it said it was discussing LSD, and it was discussing LSD in a very mature way, not a degrading way. And it was discussing how LSD has lately been able to help increase the consciousness of people taking it. But then what this, in the headline of the article literally said, can LSD microdosing tip the scales in a new human versus AI battle? Human versus AI? Okay, this was on Science Alert just yesterday, and also just yesterday there was a article on futurism about synthetic biology being the new, like, holy grail. It was discussing how billions of dollars have been pouring into artificial intelligence and synthetic biology, and it's been a good thing. So why over here on one mainstream media outlet do we have, you know, AI is, you know, humans need to surpass AI, humans need to keep up to AI, or there's some type of consciousness increasing potential within us. But then over here on futurism, it's basically telling us that we need to engineer ourselves. So it's really interesting. There's, you know, you can find quite a few of those contradictions in mainstream media. And that's just a point I wanted to make there. A couple points on that, which is, go check it out. It's a really interesting article talking about LSD. Now, and this brings us down just kind of the end. Earth Alliance staying ahead of the game. They're really trying to stay ahead of the so-called deep state. So firing Comey, trying to put, in my opinion, who is a white hat, Trey Gowdy, probably as the next FBI director. Or someone told me another name, but I don't, you know. I think regardless of who gets in into FBI director, they're going to start making moves. More leaks are going to happen. FBI is freed up, and there's a lot of science, interesting science. Like, there's a lot of misinformation obviously still coming out through the media, but there could very well be truth, you know, we get through mainstream media outlets. So it's really important to get your discerning honed so you can tell what's what. And this is really what I want to make a note of right here, though, is we need to watch the economy. I think the reason that these moves are being made by the said alliance is that what the New World Order or shadow government wants to do is probably crash the economy. They've been probably trying to do that because that's really their out. And this is really to stay ahead of the game, to get the ball rolling for things like disclosure and arrests and exposure and things like that before any type of economy or big thing can crash. Because not only can the perps get rounded up, but we can prepare if this were to happen. So anyway, that's basically the news roundup for May 11th. Thank you guys for following along, and I'll be having much more information coming your guys' way, so take care.